On today's program, we're going to tell you about Bill Wambsganss, the baseball great primarily remembered as having the only unassisted triple play in World Series history, a feat that happened in the World Series of 1920. Bill had said this many times about that accomplishment. Well, funny thing, I played in the big leagues for 13 years, 1914 through 1926, and the only thing that anybody seems to remember is that once I made an unassisted triple play in a World Series. Many don't even remember what team I was on, or the position I played, or anything. Just Wambsganss and unassisted triple play. You'd think I was born on the day before and died on the day after. Well, on our program today, yes, we're going to talk about that unassisted triple play, but we're also going to touch upon Bill's life and times leading up to that special day and beyond, as there's a lot of great history to learn, right here on History and Relics. William Adolph Wambsganss, a Cleveland, Ohio native, born March 18, 1894, in the area that has since 1930 been known as the city of Garfield Heights, Ohio. The Wambsganss name was German in origin, though the best a German professor at the Concordia College in Fort Wayne, Indiana could tell him was that it seemed to combine components of the word for overcoat, or at least a word that might have been used as overcoat in the early 20th century German usage. Bill once said, "I don't know whether it fits me or not, but I've worn it all my life and I'll probably carry it with me to the end." Bill once told the Sporting News that the scorecard printing company at League Park, named Bang and Bigley, asked if it would be okay if they shortened his name to just Wamby, so that his name would fit better on the scorecards. Bill obliged and said it sounded pretty good to him, and from there, the nickname Wamby was more or less formally approved. Bill's wife even had it listed as Wamby in the telephone directory. But now, some generations since, have alternated between the name Wamby and the traditional Wambsganss. When Bill was nearly 2 years old, his parents moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana. At first, Bill had thought about following in his father's footsteps. Reverend Wambsganss was indeed a Lutheran minister and enrolled his son at Concordia College. Bill also studied for a while at a seminary in St. Louis. He graduated in 1913, but really enjoyed playing second base on the school's varsity baseball team. His idol growing up was second baseman Nap LaHoy, the baseball legend after whom the team was known, the Cleveland Naps. Now we'd like to pause for a minute to show you these original cabinet photos of Wamby's collegiate baseball team at Concordia, taken in 1911 and 1912 by photographer F. Shands out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. On the back of the 1912 photo are the names of the players, and we believe it was Wamby himself that wrote these names, primarily due to his unique handwriting and the way he wrote the W in his name. And we also just happen to have a vintage retail model baseball bat of Nap LaHoy. The bat is a Sears and Roebuck model made by the Louisville Slugger Company on or about 1930. Bill became what some called a reverse Billy Sunday, a minister become ball player, rather than the other way around. Bill's father wasn't the least bit upset though. He was a true baseball fan himself and urged his son to pursue the calling to play ball. But now, just who was Billy Sunday? Well, in the days before radio, Billy Sunday was the most successful evangelist America had ever known. The renowned preacher and temperance crusader found the Lord while playing for the Chicago White Stockings in the 1880s. Bill entered the pros in 1913, playing for the Cedar Rapids Rabbits, or Bunnies, of the Class D Central Association, playing shortstop and batting .244 in 67 games. It wasn't long before Wamby caught the eye of Charles Summers, owner of the Cleveland Naps, who purchased Wamby's contract for $1,250 on August 1, 1914. That's about $33,000 today. Wamby's first game with the Naps came on August 4th against the Washington Nationals. Wamby replaced Ray Chapman at shortstop late in the game, and Wamby grounded a ball in the bottom of the ninth that allowed a run to score. Wamby's first start on August 10, 1914, resulted in an 0 for 2 at the plate. He picked up his first hit, though, a single, on August the 11th. His first big game was on August the 16th. He went 2 for 5 with a double and helped execute 2 double plays. That first year, Wamby was an understudy for Chapman. He appeared in 43 games, batting .217 and driving in 12 runs. He also filled in during 4 games for his childhood hero, Nap LaHoy. The Naps finished in last place, though, and even right fielder Shoeless Joe Jackson had a down year, hitting only .338. In January 1915, LaHoy was sold to the Philadelphia Athletics, opening up the second base position. This was also the first year that Cleveland was renamed the Indians. They climbed 1 notch in the standings to 7th place, but were 44.5 games behind the first place Red Sox. The day before the 1916 season began, the Red Sox traded one of their biggest stars, Tris Speaker, to the Indians for Sad Sam Jones, $55,000 in cash, and Boston's choice, to be made within 10 days, of either Bill Wambsganss or infield prospect Fred Thomas. Indians manager Lee Foyle wanted to keep Wamby, so he benched him in favor of Joe Evans, so the Red Sox scouts couldn't get a good look at him. The ploy paid off, and after the Sox selected Thomas, Wamby was in the lineup and off to a hot start. Ray Chapman had suffered a number of injuries, so Foyle inserted Wamby at shortstop. He appeared there in 106 of his 136 games and boosted his batting average to .246 with 45 runs batted in. Wamby was, at the very least, steady in 1917. He bumped up his average a little bit to .255. Everything else pretty much stayed the same, except that Chapman reclaimed shortstop, and Wamby played almost the whole season, 137 games, as the second baseman. The two working together, Wamby and Chappie, were considered perhaps the best double play combination in the league. 1917 was also the year that Wamby walked down the aisle and married Cleveland-born Effie Mulholland on June 30th. They made their home in Lakewood, Ohio, near Cleveland, and raised 3 children, daughter Mary, son Bill Jr., and another daughter, Lois. In 1918, the United States was involved in the First World War. The baseball season came to an abrupt halt at the beginning of September, and for the third time in 4 years, Boston prevailed in the pennant race and won the World Series. On July 5th, Wambsganss received his orders to report to Camp Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky. Wamby left behind a .295 season average with 40 RBIs in just 87 games. He did very well in the Army, though, advancing to officers' training camp at Camp Gordon in Georgia. When the war was over in 1919, Lieutenant Wambsganss was back with Cleveland, just in time to put in a full 139-game season. Bill had one of the best days in his career on May 18, 1919, going 4 for 4 against the visiting New York Yankees. 3 singles and an inside-the-park home run off George Mogridge, which escaped the clutches of Ping Bodie and brought in the final 3 runs of the 4-3 win. It was his first career home run. He added a second homer on August the 15th off Washington's Jim Shaw, but in a losing cause. May 1919 was a good month overall, with Wamby batting .407 as of May 24th, well ahead of Joe Jackson's .386. But the season ended with Wamby batting only .278 and driving in a career-high 60 runs, while Jackson hit for .351 with the champion White Sox, a year later to become known as the Black Sox. 1920 would prove to be a year of triumph and tragedy, as on August the 16th, in a game where the Yankees hosted the Indians, Cleveland shortstop Ray Chapman was struck at home plate by a ball pitched by Carl Mays. Chapman died the next day due to his injuries. Wamby and Chappie had worked so hard at perfecting the double play. Ray once told Wamby, "Bill, you're the only second baseman I'll ever play next to." In September 1920, the Black Sox scandal came to a boil. With just a few games left in the season, and Cleveland and Chicago neck and neck for first place, at 94 and 54 and 95 and 56 respectively, the Chicago owner suspended 8 players. The White Sox lost 2 of 3 in their final series, while Cleveland won 4 and lost 2 in their final 2 series. Cleveland finished 2 games ahead of Chicago and 3 games ahead of the Yankees to win its first pennant, led by Tris Speaker's .388 hitting. From there, it was off to the World Series against the Brooklyn Robins. The team wore black armbands in memory of their lost teammate, Ray Chapman. This would also be the event in which Wambsganss eventually became, if not a household name, well known in the world of people who learn unusual facts about baseball, as on October 10, 1920, in the 5th game of the series, Wamby accomplished the first, and to date, only unassisted triple play in World Series history. The unassisted triple play happened when Brooklyn batters Otto Miller and Pete Kilduff singled to begin the 5th inning, with the Indians leading 7-0. With Miller on first and Kilduff on second, the next batter, Clarence Mitchell, lined a ball towards right field. Wamby made a brilliant catch for out 1, touched second base for the second out, and tagged Miller for the third out. The series included 2 other memorable firsts, both of them in Game 5 at Cleveland, and all by the home team. In the first inning, right fielder Elmer Smith hit the first series grand slam, and in the 4th inning, Jim Bagby hit the first series home run by a pitcher. Cleveland went on to defeat the Brooklyn Robins 5-2 in the World Series for their first title, winning 4 games in a row after the Robins took a 2-1 series lead. Wamby played with the Indians until 1923, when he was traded to Boston. His last year in the majors came with Philadelphia in 1926. His pro career ended with 5,041 at-bats, 710 runs, 1,359 hits, 521 RBIs, and 7 home runs with a batting average of .259 and a slugging percentage of .327. Bill went on and managed minor league teams in Springfield, Illinois and Fort Wayne, Indiana, and a professional women's team in Muskegon, Michigan. Wamby returned to Cleveland to manage the Class A teams of the Lion Tailors and Fisher Foods. In 1948, he took a sales position with the True Fit Screw Products Corporation and managed its ball team. Wambsganss died of heart failure in Lakewood, Ohio on December 8, 1985, at the age of 91. He joined his wife Effie, who had preceded him in death, on April 1, 1977, at the age of 83. Wamby and Effie are buried with Effie's parents in a family plot at Calvary Cemetery in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our program. If you like our content, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It costs nothing, but means a lot to us and keeps us growing. So until next time, everyone, this one's history.